This question is very similar to the coin one, except that we're talking about a different item that they give me the cost of. So it has to deal with an equation to deal with quantity, an equation to deal with money again. Okay. So the Athletic Association purchased new footballs for practice. They ordered 20 footballs and spent $770. The leather footballs were $70 each, and the synthetic were $25 each. How many of each type did they order? So again, we look at the last sentence. How many of each type? The last sentence tells you what X and Y represent. So X will let's let be the number of leather, and Y be the number of synthetic. Okay, so again, one equation is going to be a simple equation that deals with quantity. How many? They ordered 20, some of each type. So X and Y together, X plus Y, equals 20. Then our equation that deals with money, the value on these footballs. So the coin one we did, we had to put the values in just because we know what coins are worth. They didn't tell me what a nickel is worth, but I know that. Here they're going to have to tell you, okay? So leather footballs, $70 each. So 70 X's and 25 for each synthetic, so 25 Y is my total of 770. So one equation that deals with quantity, one equation that deals with the money, how much we spent. Okay, so I want to do, I would do elimination again. So somebody tell me, what am I going to do? Lindsay.
You're going to multiply the top by 25, negative 25.
Okay, so we can get X or Y to drop. It doesn't matter. If we take that top equation by negative 25, I'm going to get negative 25X minus 25Y equals negative 500. And then put that with the other equation. So 70 minus 25, 45X. Y's are gone. 270. And I get 6. And I divide by 45. So again, you don't want to get a negative or a decimal, because you can't have fractions of footballs or negative footballs. And again, the best place to go put that back in is going to be here, because that's the least amount of work. So 6 plus Y equals 20. Subtract 6, and Y is 14. So we're going to have 6 leather and 14 synthetic. Yes?
On that last equation, the 6 plus Y equals 20, do we have to do that? Or can we just take that?
Oh, no, you don't have to show that.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a real easy to do. Okay, next question, very different. We're talking about a rectangle. It says the length of a rectangle is more than twice the width. The perimeter is 82. Find the length and width. Okay, so I'm going to use L and W because it's easier on a rectangle question like this to use L and W instead of X and Y. The one equation is going to write itself. So as you're reading it, you're going to write what it's saying. Okay? So here we go. The length of a rectangle, L. The length of a rectangle, all those words to put L, is, that's my equals, 2 more than means I'm going to add 2 to something. What am I going to add it to? Twice the width. Twice means to multiply something by 2. So 2W. So the length, L, is equals 2 more than means add 2 to twice the width, 2W. Now, if you wrote this as 2 plus 2W, it works. However, if it said 2 less than, it's got to come second. So it's probably good to get used to writing it as it reads. Okay? All right, so that's the first equation. The one equation writes itself. The other equation, you have to know the perimeter formula. You have to know the perimeter formula. Perimeter means adding all the sides of a polygon together. Okay? In a rectangle, we have a length and a length and a width and a width. And the lengths are the same and the widths are the same. So we have 2 lengths and 2 widths. That's the perimeter formula. So the second equation, the perimeter, 2L plus 2W is equals 82. So yes, there is some memorization involved here of knowing the perimeter formula, 2L plus 2W. So that's my setup. That's my setup for that system. I personally would use substitution on this question because it's set up perfectly for substitution. If you use elimination, you are going to have to transform the top equation. Okay? So I'm going to go with substitution just so you can see that again because we haven't done it for a while. But I will know you can choose whichever method you like. Okay? On the word problems, I'm not going to force you to use any one specific method. I'm going to go with substitution on here so you can see it. Okay, so L equals, so this is going to go into the other equation for the L. So the L is coming out of the game. The 2W plus 2 is going in the game. So 2. L comes out. 2W plus 2 goes in. All these other pieces are still there. The plus 2W equals 82. And then we solve. So I have 4W plus 4 plus 2W equals 82. Add my W's together. 6W plus 4 equals 82. Subtract the 4. 6W equals 78. And divide by 6, and W equals 13. And then remember, in substitution, there's a good place to go, there's a best place to go, and that's right back there. L equals 2 times 13 plus 2. L is 26 plus 2. L is 28. So my length is 28. Did they give me a unit of measure? No. And my width is 13. So make sure you label your final answer. Okay, so again, substitution is what I use, but you could subtract that 2W. You got to transform it first and then use elimination. So whichever one you like better. Okay, the last one. I think it's the last one. It's the last one. There's 5. Okay, the sum of two numbers is 290. The larger one is 1 less than the smaller one. Find the numbers. We could use L and S for large and small, if that works, or we can use X and Y. I don't usually use S because my S's and 5's look the same and then sometimes it's confused. So I'm going to use X and Y. So we're looking for numbers. So I'm going to let X be the larger number. And I'm going to let Y be the smaller number. But you could easily use L and S if you're confident in your handwriting. Okay, X and Y represent the two numbers I'm looking for. Again, that last sentence is going to tell you what X and Y represent, or what your variables represent. All right, the sum of two numbers is 290. There's my first equation. You got to know that sum means addition. So the sum of my two numbers is 290. And then the second equation is going to write itself as you read the second sentence. The larger one, L or X, whatever you chose to use, X, is equals 1 less than. So that's subtracting 1 from twice the smaller. Again, twice means to multiply something by 2. So 2y. So that's my setup. Second sentence, you got to read it, write it as you read it. The larger one, X, is my equals, 1 less than, subtract 1, twice the smaller, 2y. Again, this one lends wonderfully to substitution, so I'm going to use it. If you do not use substitution and you want to use elimination, you got to transform it. Okay? So I'm going to take this, so ready to go, and put it right there. So this X is going to come out. This 2y minus 1 is going in. So I get 2y minus 1. X came out, 2y minus 1 went in. The rest of this stays the same. So plus y equals 290. And we solve. Collect your y's. 3y minus 1 equals 290. Add 1 to both sides. And 3y equals 291. Divide by 3. And y is 97. And then the substitution, there's the best place to go back to, right there. X equals 2 times 97 minus 1. X equals 194 minus 1. X is 193. So my two numbers, 193 and 97.